Improper use and manipulation of pressure doors and vehicle gates can also cause injury. If you're not paying attention, if you're standing in a crush point, or if you're trying to force a door open or closed, or if you're not wearing your gloves and other PPE, eventually you or somebody else is going to get hurt. Here are some important points to remember about operating gates.
The safety hazards with operating a manual gate is not being aware of what's happening around you, closing the gate before it is required. You have a potential of pinch points that can occur when locking the gate. Just like on a gate where the alarm station closes it at the command of the security officer, you need to be aware of the crushing points, because those gates normally weigh a lot more than a manual gate. And if you're in the way, the potential for a hazard to occur and an injury is there.
The different type of hazards that can happen are any pinch points when you're actually lifting or actually closing the gate, depending on the gate that you're operating. If it is a rolling gate, making sure that you're standing clear of the gate of any sort so that you won't have a pinch point, especially when you're wearing an actual badge or when you're wearing a particular long gun. Also making sure that there's no vehicles or any pedestrians walking through an actual rolling gate.
Vehicle gates are serious business. If you don't pay attention, if you don't follow the safety steps, somebody could get seriously injured. And the best way to protect yourself from serious injury is with your PPE.
To ensure that I'm safe, we of course wear the proper uniform, make sure we're wearing the correct substantial boots. We're also making sure that we do wear our hard hat, proper PPE, which is gloves, when you're operating any type of rolling gate or any vehicle gate.
Now let's take a look at some gate examples and the proper way to operate them. First, make sure you're wearing the required PPE. Unlock the gate and place the lock in a secure location. On this type of pin gate, you need to push down, so you need to make sure your fingers are not in a pinch point when you remove the pin. On this gate, we have a guide rope. Don't create a trip hazard with it. Inspect the rope for integrity prior to use. Always make sure your feet and anybody else's are clear of the rope and do not get wrapped up in it. Use the guide rope when the gate is going up so that you maintain good control of the gate to prevent any snaps. When closing the gate, make sure that vehicles and personnel, including yourself, are clear of the area. Again, use the guide rope to control the gate. Be careful not to place your fingers in a pinch point when securing the gate down and replacing the pin. Operation of a rolling gate. First, make sure you're wearing the required PPE. Remove the lock and place it in a secure place so that you don't lose it. This type of a gate has a locking bar which must also be removed before operating the gate. And make sure the locks under the gate are removed. If your gate, such as this one, has a head bump hazard, be aware and use precaution to prevent injury. This is a rolling gate that's opened by the central alarm station. So it's very important that you make sure there are no vehicles or pedestrians coming near the gate while it's in operation. Everyone should stand back and stay at a safe, clear distance while the gate is opening and closing. When the gate is closed, replace the locking bar and lock the gate, making sure not to get your fingers into any pinch points. If you ever have any questions or concerns about the safe operation of the vehicle gate, stop operation and contact your supervisor immediately. We can't show you every type of gate in this video, but we do want to also take a look at the wedge gates, gates at the vehicle entrapment area, and review the safe practices for inspecting vehicles prior to entering the plant. Let's start with a safety brief at wedge gates.
The most important safety issues in this area right here is exactly what's behind me, which are the wedge gates. When the wedge gates lower, when the wedge gates raise, it's a critical area where no one needs to be standing. If you can see behind me, you'll see that there's all kinds of caution hash areas, and these items here can really get a hold of you and cause some damage. So we definitely do not do this operation if anyone's in the vicinity.
First of all, when operating any gate, we need to have gloves on. There are many pinch points. For example, when you're lowering and raising the dog legs, there's pinch points back here, pinch point underneath. So in order to be safe, you want to make sure you're wearing your protection, which is your gloves. Another possible pinch point can be when working the lock. When you're bringing the lock back in place, there's a possible pinch point down here when you're resecuring it. That's why you also need your gloves. Taking a look now at the gate and at the configuration, you see two Delta wedge gates. Around it, you can see a demarcated security or safety zone outlined by yellow and black stripes. We want to avoid that area at all times. So in order to transgress through here, we can take this path, come around this way, and proceed to these Delta wedges. Or if our path takes us on a different course, the same is true on the other side. It's just avoiding this general area at all points.
The vehicle entrapment and inspection area can be very dangerous if you're not paying attention. You must keep yourself safe from injury and avoid all hazards, not just from the vehicles you inspect, but the gates too.
This is the gate entrapment area where we do search vehicles, and those vehicles range in size from small to large and many different types. So you can have all different sorts of things going on, sharp edges, maybe some insects that could bite you. Just you never know what you're going to be faced with out here, so you got to be on your toes and really just be cognizant of having situational awareness and watching out for those risks that could really bite you.
When a vehicle approaches, conduct your regular vehicle entry process and inspection with safety in mind at all times. As you open compartments, look under the hood and under the vehicle, throughout your entire inspection, be aware of potential risks and hazards and avoid injury at all times. These are some additional safety guidelines.
Climbing around vehicles, make sure that you have 3 points of contact if you're climbing up on any stairs to get you on top of a flatbed. Just when you're moving around in the inside of the cab, all different sorts of things that can reach out and get you. So we really want to take our time, focus on what we're doing, and be safe. People should definitely avoid jumping up on top of items, jumping off from flatbeds of large vehicles that are in here. Basically, there's a right way and a wrong way to do business, especially when it pertains to safety. So any kind of activity that's going to get someone hurt is what we frown upon. We have situations develop where there's more than one person possibly doing a search or doing an activity. And so we peer check each other by saying, I've got this location, it's handled okay. You've got that location, you've got that okay. And that peer check between one officer and another officer, one, it helps us to get the job done faster, having multiple people work on a task. And by using our human performance tools of peer checking, we make sure that we get the job done right.
We all like to get the job done right, but I like to get it done right and safe. The best way I know how is to follow the safety rules, use my PPE, maintain situational awareness, operate equipment the proper way, and be able to identify risks and hazards, even with such simple equipment as doors.
Positive pressure doors could be a hazard to any plant employee, not only security officers, but more so with security officers, and they cart in those vital area doors constantly while doing post turnovers, doing their patrols. So with these positive pressure doors, when they are open, the potential for them slamming are there if the officer's not aware of it. So whenever they open the door and traverse through it, they need to not walk the door closed, but let it close on its own. Stay away from it at a distance, let it close, and then push or pull, depending where you are, to make sure that the door is closed properly.
It's how to go through a positive pressure door without injuring yourself and using the minimum amount of risk possible. When you go through the door, especially if there's a stairway leading to the door, you want to make sure that you use your 3-point contact going up through the door. You don't want to stand behind the door in case somebody else is exiting at the same time. You don't get slammed with the door. When you come through, use the handle to hold the door. It's a bad idea to get caught up in conversation as you're entering the door, or put your foot in the door or keep your hand in there. Like I said, you run the risk of getting caught up, getting distracted going in through the door and having the door slam on your finger. Let the door close behind you. Coming out the door, you want to make sure all your gear doesn't get caught up in the door. Clear the door completely and let the door close safely behind you. Don't get caught up in conversations with other people or trying to hold the door open for other people going through the door. like so, or trying to put your foot in the door holding it for other individuals, because you run the risk of having your toe get caught under the door, your finger caught in the jamb. Let the door close behind you unassisted, and you check the door and make sure that it is secure. And where you keep yourself safe and all other individuals behind you safe. Going down the stairs, use your 3-point contact, keep your eyes on path, and that's how you go through positive pressure door safely.
Today we've covered some of the most common safety concerns, risks, and hazards, and shown you ways to prevent accidents from happening. At G4S Regulated Security Solutions, we work in complex environments with safety risks almost everywhere we turn. Injuries cost the company money. They cost you money. Bottom line is, we want you to be safe. It's critical that you follow the safety tools that have been provided to you and maintain your situational awareness at all times, so that you know when you're on the job, it's your job to put safety first.